as interactive as possible. Welcome once again to the meeting. I know talks or meetings can sometimes be, a little boring, predictable, and all of that jazz. And technically, it's Easter holiday, so I know most of your minds might be off. But guys, this is an opportunity for everyone here. And oh, sorry about that. Yeah, yeah, like I was saying, it is an opportunity. It's not just a meeting. It's a chance to spark fresh ideas, challenge yourself, and make real impact together. Yeah. So, guys, we're going to keep this highly interactive. We're going to make it fast, and we're going to make it worth your time. I know each and every one of you came here, with a thought, with questions, and seeking, a lots of answers, lots of insights, discussions, maybe, the sense of community and even laughs. So I encourage all of you to bring your energy, your perspectives, and your best ideas. Okay, because today we're not just going through the motions, we're shaping something meaningful. And this talk is data driven, like we have said. So let's dive in, let's shake things up, and let's make this meeting one that actually matters, guys. So if you're not comfortable typing, if you feel like you would want to talk, we definitely give you the avenue to do that. You can always turn your mic on if you want to ask a question. Let's just make it interactive, let's make it quick, and let's get right to our agenda. Great.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Yep. Perfect. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Wonderful. So, guys, again, just like Vanessa has mentioned, let's start with quick introductions here. So, Vanessa is the local country liaison, kind of like helping shape the operations and the engagements with all of our students. We have a kind of like a global footprint. Vanessa and I have helped in other digital spaces as well. We have a larger digital footprint than a physical footprint because the digital space is where it's at, right? We're able to cross borders, cross time zones. Some of you all are waking up, some of you are going to sleep, some of you are kind of like in the middle of the day, but we are able to do all of that in the digital space. Also, we're speaking about digital skills, so it just helps that all of our effort is digitized from the get-go. Okay, so cool. So Vanessa is again our local representative in Kenya, and but also interfacing with everybody else globally. Who are we? What do we do? Who am I? Let me answer those questions fairly quickly. So as you can see from the logo, my image that I'm using there, it says Ubongo Applied Data Science Lab. And that's what we really are. We're a small outfit. We're kind of like a boutique startup. Who are trying to fill in the gaps that exist between university degrees and skills. What we've observed, especially in Kenya, is that we have a lot of young graduates getting out of universities that are lacking some of the skills for the year 2025 and forward. So you have a good education, you have a good degree, but hey, do you have the skills, right, to actually show up in the marketplace? We focus ourselves a lot more, not just on any kind of skill, but the data skills. We talk about technology in this space. We kind of try to see, hey, are you a good fit for data work, or are you a good fit for another element of technology work? But overall, we emphasize skills over degrees, skills over degrees. So if you're here because you're getting out, this is your final year at university, maybe you're asking yourself, hey, what does the marketplace look like? What will my degree be relevant, etc. This community talks that we host, which we're going to be hosting every weekend at the same time over this period between now and June. This is a place where you can ask us questions. You can talk about some of your own achievements so far. And Vanessa is going to take, some of you, I know people are kind of shy sometimes. If you can't ask a question now, you can always send an email directly to Vanessa and we'll reach out to you and respond to your questions. At the same time, we're going to have a Q&A section here once I go through some material where you can actually open your mic and ask questions. Now let's talk about myself, right? Very briefly. My name, Obongo Omondi. I am a professional. I work based in the US. I work across cross borders globally. I work for mostly Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies. If you understand what that means, it just means that some of the best companies, the top 500 companies in the world, or the top 1000 companies in the world. What I do, I've been consulting for Deloitte, Accenture, Booz Allen Hamilton, the government, and many other smaller boutique companies, helping shape their data science departments, how they deliver data science projects. I do a lot of training. I tend to do a lot of training in those areas, but also tend to do a lot of building. So I am what you consider an applied data scientist. I don't just talk theory. I don't just theorize about these things, but actually build things, tools from the get-go, from the ground up, right? Yeah, perfect. I do see somebody's raising their hands. Yes, guys. You can also raise your hands using the icons that we have here. Thanks a lot, Denise, for clapping. I'm sure you have a reason for that. We're going to give you a chance to speak later on, right? Cool. So by birth, I'm Kenyan. By work, I work in the States, right? And by education, I'm both mostly trained here in the US. From my bachelor's, which was at Southern New Hampshire University, my bachelor's was in analytics. And then I went on to complete my master's at Syracuse University in New York. Also, it was in applied data science. And then currently I'm already enrolled, starting a PhD program at the National University in September. So pretty interesting time, a lot of good stuff. Now, during my journey, I discovered the need for us to inform people, a lot of our people, especially people from Africa, people of color, about the opportunities that exist, students especially. As you get out of university, what are the skill sets that you need to be able to become, for example, a data worker? Okay, so I think that's enough introduction. Let me now go into what this is all about. Okay, cool. So Saturday Night Talks is the theme here. It's going to be Saturday Night Talks, how to become a skilled data worker. We call it Saturday Night Talks because we want it to be engaging. We want to have direct conversations. My dry talks here are about to end, and then I'm going to pass this back over to you all so we can field questions. But I've felt the need for us to do a little bit of an introduction here. So the Saturday Night Talks, guys, share this with your friends, family, colleagues, partners, anybody who's interested in becoming a data worker. What do I mean by a data worker? This is someone who wants to become a data analyst, a data scientist, data engineer, data journalism, right? Research using data, all of these things, yeah. All of these skill sets around working with data. There's an explosion, my friends, of data. There's so many use cases, vast use cases of data. It seems like it's endless right now. But how do you participate in that industry? And more importantly, how do you participate in a meaningful way where you can actually bring value, but also get value out of the data spaces, right? So I enjoy talking to what kind of people? High school students who have just completed and looking for a career. Where do you go from here? How do you fashion out a career in the data space? I like talking to university graduates, especially final year careerists. These are guys who are asking themselves, what do I do from here now that I have a degree? In all of this, I also like to talk with professionals, journalists, nurses, media people, right? Teachers, economists, researchers, social scientists, political scientists, all of these people. And the conversation is about, hey, how do I skill up? How do I reskill, reimagine the skills that I have? But how do I upskill, right? How do I use the domain knowledge that I already have as an economist, as a doctor, as a nurse, as a teacher? How do I use my background effectively to now get into the data sciences, to the data field? Okay. And maybe you're asking yourself, why does it matter? Why is this important? Well, it's important because in 2025, every company that you're going to be working for is going to be data-centered. They value their data first. First and foremost is about the data. Data is everything and everywhere. So even though you want to be a software engineer, computer engineer, whatever it is you want to do, it's all going to be about data. A teacher is all about data. A doctor is all about data, patient data. It's all about data, my friends. So we cannot be left behind. We must start having conversations around data. Okay, cool. So with that being said, let me share some screenshots here. I'm going to do a quick presentation, right? I'm going to cover some of the things about us and kind of how our program goes. And then I'll throw it back to ask for you guys to ask questions. Okay. So let me find something to share. Mhm. Let me just find it, and I'll share my screen in a bit. If I can find it. Let me just find. I think I found it. I'm using a single screen today. So let me share entire screen. So guys, I'm going to share my entire screen. It's going to look a little bit wacky, but please bear with me. I'm using one screen today. I'm traveling, so just bear with me here. I will, it's going to look like multiple mirrors, but I will quickly evolve that to show you. Let's see this one. Let us see this one. I think this will work. All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay, I think I've already talked a little bit here. Yes, good. So UADSL, um, um, Vanessa, are you able to admit people to the talk? Can you see that while I'm presenting? Are you able to admit people so that I hear people coming in? Can you do that?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Please do. Thank you.
Just allow the permissions. Yeah,
Okay.
if you have them
All
to
right.
us. Yeah.
All right, guys. So sorry about that. A little bit of noise here. Let me see. I think we have Joel coming in. Okay. Okay. Let's see that. And then again, the beauty of technology, guys. I want to show you that we're real people. We're not some polished people without, right? So we're just real people trying to do real work. Okay. Ubongo applied data science, right? Who are we? What do we do? First of all, we go by this data by UDSL. So if you search on Instagram for data by UDSL, hashtag data.by.udsl, you will see us. And I think, Vanessa, if you'll be so kind to share our Instagram page where I think we have our most engagement, the hashtag data.by.udsl. That's who we are. Okay. Okay, let me just kind of go here. I think what I want to talk about mostly, I've already introduced the company, what we do, for those of you that were here a little bit earlier, and a little bit of a timeline here. We started this outfit kind of telling these data stories back in 2023. So it's been about April. So we are right at 2 years. Again, it's just been by word of mouth. We've never advertised. We've had a lot of success, but we kind of kept it organic. And we've just had these data talks, right? So started out, I kind of thought of this idea back in 2023, and we started having engagement with students in August. And our first offering was something called Tableau Desktop Specialist. This just allows you to bring in any data set and trend it and visualize it. And we'll kind of talk about that later on, right? So this data visualization course and certification was our pioneer class. And it was mostly a pilot thing. We wanted to find out how many people actually know and understand the power of data visualization, right? So drawing things using data is very impressive. Charts and trends and things like that of that nature. So we did that through 2023 up until February. We've had many people take our courses in Tableau and actually finish and take the international exam. We have a seriously good track record of producing success for Tableau for those who take our international exam. 99.99%. We've only had one person fail since we launched that class. So really, really wonderful. Okay, back in June 24th is kind of really where it gets interesting because we now started offering a full-fledged Business Intelligence Data Analyst course. BI stands for Business Intelligence Data Analyst course. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason you are here. I hope it is, right? We're going to show you and we're going to talk about how to become a BI data analyst, get certified as a BI. BI just stands for Business Intelligence Data Analyst. We talk of business and we talk of intelligence deliberately. It means we look at company, organizational data, and then we try to find the intelligence that is hidden in the data. And there are methodologies and framework for doing so in an organized structure. So you're not just a quack working with data, right? We do use modern technology stack to get this done. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. Okay. What else do I have here? We provide hands-on, affordable, and comprehensive data analytics training for job-ready graduates globally. That is 100% true. The key focus here is that it's hands-on. You've already sat through a lot of theory in class. You already have a degree that was mostly theoretical for most of you. Now, welcome to hands-on learning, right? You do things. Again, like I mentioned earlier, my background is in applied. So you will be building, you will be writing code, which we'll talk about later on. Even for those of you that have never written a single line of code, we cannot talk about how to write code, how to learn how to write code, and why you should write code, right? Very hands-on, right? What else is here? Core values. We are anchored in integrity and transparency for sure, definitely. We're led by digital innovation. That's why everything we do is digital. You will not come to a physical class, and that kind of helps us reach you wherever you are, and also make the course quickly and easily available and accessible at the as soon as you're online. Okay. We believe in excellence, simplicity, and skills over degrees. This is the biggest burning battle cry for our group, right? Skills over degrees, guys. We see a lot of young graduates, right, who don't know what to do with their degrees. What we are providing is an opportunity for you to gauge if, let me just welcome some other more people here, guys. 1 second. I think we have, somebody raised their hands. Aluma, did you want to say something? Do you want me to stop so you can say something? And Vanessa, just let me know if somebody's raised their hands and they need to talk, okay? Because I'm using the same screen here, okay? I do see Aluma. Did you want to say something, ma'am, sir? Okay, if you have silence, I'll take silence as
We have a question on the message box, but yeah, you can just finish the
finish first
intro
and
first
then
and then you can
correct. Exactly. Perfect. Thanks a lot, Vanessa. Yeah, absolutely. So once I finish this, we're gonna go into a Q&A where we'll take your questions. So Vanessa and I are gonna team up to make sure that your questions are answered. Cool. All right. So it's just some of the stats here from where we've been in the past 2 years, right? We've enrolled, we provided at least international certification 36. That's a little more than that right now. So this slide was created almost 6 months ago. We've had a lot more than this. I think we're in the realm of at least 51 currently in terms of certifications. Enrolled students, past and present, we've done 51. We have a huge enrollment currently that we're going to be putting through our program. Starting June. And then international certification pass rate, like I mentioned, we're at 99%. So that means what we coach, the programming, the curriculum we provide, when you go to take the international exam, specifically Tableau Desktop Certified Data Analyst exam, you're getting 99%. We're having a 99% pass rate. I want to say 99.99 because only one person has ever failed our exam, but I keep it simple, right? Again, when we say international, what do we mean, by the way? We mean that you are going toe to toe with everybody in the globe, whether you're in America, the US, in New York, or whether you're from, Syria, or whether you're from Malawi, it doesn't matter. Can you take an international exam asking the same methodologies and structures on how to work with data and pass? UADSL, our outfit and our groups, will help you get there. All right, what else? Yeah, so this just come out. I just wanted to see that we have local faces in Kenya, for example. These are local people. They are just like you and I, right? All they have is desire and drive, right? These are local faces, the faces of our people, as you can see here, right? I mentioned Vanessa. I have coach support by Irene and others, and then myself as a lead coach. And let's see, let's talk about the program itself that we provide. So our course curriculum, what you will be learning, will take you between 4 to 6 months. This is a very conservative take. This 4 to 6 months means you're really working diligently, and we kind of go into that details later on, right? It also means that you have a good preparation to get in the program. That means you already know how to work with a computer. You're not coming to learn how to work with a computer for the first time with us, right? But we take you through a comprehensive 4 to 6 month class. Majority of this class is done online, almost 100%, okay, by yourself. We'll provide for you a platform where you can learn in a very structured manner. But we also conduct live sessions where we do something like this, but usually we are on camera. You watch over my shoulder as I do things. I write code, I show you how to write it, right? And then you write it, you simulate what I'm doing, and then you go on your own and use our platforms we could provide for you to continue to practice on that. We meet 3 times a week. And when we meet, we do go over some of the materials you've covered, but we also give you the real world practical examples, not just the notebook examples. So coaching happens in live classes, while training happens in offline by yourself. Basically, not a live class, right? It's still a digital essence, still online, but you do the work in the training piece. Then we overlay, we augment your training with real world explanations during our live calls. Just so you know, our live coaching and live classes are very early in the morning. We're talking about 4 a.m. in the morning in Kenya, if you're in Kenya. 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Between 4 and 5:30, usually we've wrapped up, but it's 4 to 6 a.m. in the morning. And I want you guys to hear this thing because that's not for the faint of heart, right? Cool. All right, your role. There's some things here that we'll kind of talk about later on. You know, things such as punctuality, being a hands-on participation and commitment. These are great things that for those of you that will enroll, we'll kind of get to talk about this a lot more. But I want to emphasize certain things that this course is a coaching class, right? Coaching usually means you have a willing participant, someone who wants to be coached. So there's a lot of responsibility on your hands. I like working with people who truly want to acquire skills and who want to go out in the marketplace tomorrow and actually win. In fact, I enjoy working with the professionals, right? Because they already know what they want to get. Let me just get somebody else here. Journalist show. Okay, cool. Welcome to our group again, guys. I'm using one screen today because I'm traveling and I wanted to make sure that I am available for this introduction. Again, this is a free community talk. I'm just providing an intro to what this is all about. And then we're going to field questions here in about a minute or two from now, right? Yeah, so we'll talk about a lot more things there. That's me, that's my face. You know, I'm also just an ordinary guy. All I have is a little bit of drive and a little bit of passion, a little bit of empathy for where people are. I know what it's like to complete your education and wonder, hey, what did I go to school for? I know what it's like to wonder, will my education be relevant in the marketplace? I know what it's like to ask yourself, hey, what are the trends in the marketplace? What is it that people are looking for in fresh graduates? But I also know what it's like to take on a job and want to scale up because you can see that things are changing. You can see artificial intelligence creeping in, and you're wondering, hey, how do I measure up? What is this data thing? How do I, as a professional, scale up or build my tooling set afresh, given the circumstances of our time, given the trends of our time? So I know what that looks like. But more importantly, I know what it's like to not know a thing and have the desire to really know a thing. What do I mean? You know that you need to learn data and adopt it, but you don't know where to start from. You don't know where to start from, and you need a guide. Because I went back to school, ladies and gentlemen, as an old, mature man. I didn't think I could go back, but I went back. And because I was a mature student, an older man, learning, right? Learning with younger people, etc., right? I know what it felt like when there were gaps. And I realized that if teachers had a little more empathy, right, students tend to excel. The reason we're doing these coaching programs, the reason we're having these talks is to expose that desire so that those who are willing can come in, we can help hold your hands and kind of help guide your career, adapt to the trends in technology, especially artificial intelligence and data work. All right, cool. All right, so now you've seen my face and you know I'm a real human being, right? So let's see what else we have here. I think that's it for the most part, right? I'm gonna stop there actually. It's gonna keep this lightweight, and then we're gonna start filling some questions. Some of the things you see on my slide will get into those conversations when you finally enroll into our program, right? Cool. I want to thank you all guys for that. I'm gonna stop sharing this here, and then I'm gonna fill some questions from the audience. Feel free to ask anything. You realize that my presentation was very general. It was not very specific, and I want to keep it that way for today. And then let me just stop presenting here, right? And then we will continue to uh, uh, we'll continue to um, we'll continue to have this conversation, build up on it, field your questions, answer your questions, and move on from there. Cool. Hey, Vanessa, can you find out? Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Can you find out if there are any things on the chat box, questions that we need to kind of jump on right away? Let me see. All right, so I do see
Yeah,
questions
definitely,
here.
Mr. Bongo. Yes, we
Yep,
have Joel. Joel had a question, and Aluma had a question. So this is
sure.
your chance to ask your question more clearly. Joel, Aluma, you can switch on your mic and directly ask your question if you may. Thank you. Aluma, go ahead. I can see you've raised your hand.
Okay, they could be having technical challenges there. But well, let's see if the question is here. I'm Robin Aluma, currently a third-year student, Bachelor of Science Mathematics and Chemistry from Egerton. How about machine learning engineering? Okay, yeah, I can take that question. Yeah, so someone like Robin is kind of like more niche student. He's already taking a bachelor of he's already in, and I want to say, Aluma Robin, correct me, are you ma'am? Are you? I don't want to kind of get your gender misdirected here, so I'm gonna keep it general with just a he, right? So he already has he's a third year bachelor of mathematics and chemistry from Megaton, right? This is wonderful. How about machine learning and engineering? A whole lot more is there. I am a machine learning and data engineer practitioner. I do this every day at work, mostly for industry, right? I haven't had to teach it because usually most people are just kind of starting out. So Aluma is kind of like on the farther, much farther in the spectrum of a normal student. Yes, what we'll provide for you is a platform for you to continue learning, right? There are foundational things before you become a machine learning engineer. There's foundational stuff that you need to learn to be aware of. Programming language like Python is predominantly used in the spaces of machine learning and engineering a lot. Artificial intelligence has elevated Python to the almost the number one position in terms of the coding language to learn. Are you good with Python? Can you write entry level, intermediate, and advanced Python effectively? How about all the machine learning models? What do you know about labeled and unlabeled data? There's a lot there that we can get into, Robin. So again, what I'd like to suggest is enroll into our talk. There's a link that Vanessa provided here, and we'll have a more niche conversation to someone like Aluma. You may not just want the basic entry level things, but guys, we provide from the basics, the entry level of what is data, all the way to, hey, what is machine learning and what is natural language processing? Um, um, how do artificial intelligence pieces work? And then for someone like Robin, you may go to the next level, which is to actually write, how to actually take a data set and train a machine learning model, right? Train and test and evolve a machine learning model. Okay. And we do that not just for people who are in mathematics and chemistry, but for all industries, because all industries are consuming data. We have a niche approach to where you will work on data sets specific to your industry, right? So if you're someone like Robin, you may be more interested in more complex data sets, but that's totally fine. We have resources to help you find those and to mature your learning or evolve your learning based on data sets within your industry. Okay. Yes. So alumni, you are in the perfect place, and you're kind of what I call a more advanced niche student. We can have that conversation either one-on-one or in our advanced introductory classes. Cool. Vanessa, did I answer that adequately? And what else? Who else has an additional question there?
Yes, definitely. Unless Aluma has anything pending, I feel like you covered everything in regards to his question. We also have something from Joel Lucorito.
Okay. Okay,
He
Joel.
says, I am Joel
Mhm.
Lucorito, fourth year from Egerton University. I have a question on which level of study should I start on, since in almost all data analysis tools, I am in intermediate levels, or I think you wanted to say I am in intermediate levels. I have a good foundation in coding and basics. I would like to know more about it.
Perfect. I like this question a lot. So to just kind of caveat this, I speak with a lot of students who come in and say, "Hey, I already have the basics. Hey, I think I'm an intermediate. Yeah, I'm an intermediate, programmer, etc." And I say, "More power to you. That's kind of what we want to have." Okay. There are two things that I want to bring up here, however, right? There is academic excellence and then there's industry excellence, right? What we try to do in our program, or the guidance that you need when you already have these basics, is to now turn to industry. Academia tends to lag behind industry. In other words, what you're being taught in school sometimes is very stale by the time you get out into the real world. What we try to show you, if you're someone like Joel Lucorito, is, hey, is your tooling setup similar to what the industry is looking for? How about your processes for coding and writing solutioning? Do you know about things such as code sharing, things such as uh, code benchmarks and working in teams and in industry standards? How do you produce code quickly? How do you prototype quickly? What do you know of rapid prototyping? Companies want to be able to innovate on data and to go to market tomorrow. They don't want to wait too long, because the sooner you can go to the marketplace, the sooner you can sell. But you can't just go to the marketplace without insight. So you want to be able to rapidly prototype things and get them into development. What our coaching program will show you, Mr. Locorito, is how to become an industry expert, or how to start a journey on evolving your skills to be job ready day one. Don't Have you ever seen how you get out of school and you think you know something and you go to a workplace and you're like, wait a minute, they didn't tell me this is how it works. You feel like you're an imposter, right? We try to help you build confidence in your skills by giving you a window into what the industry is looking for and how the industry does things. Does that help? I hope that helps, Joel. I really hope that helps. Okay. If you're a fourth year like Joel, really, this is your opportunity. This is your time to get serious about acquiring industry grade skills. Forget academic grade
Mr.
skills.
Obongo, we're kind of losing you.
You can't
You're
losing
drifting
me.
farther away from us.
Are you kidding? Let me see. Let me see what I can do. Let me see. Uh, I, I believe that I'm very audible. Please let me know
Okay,
if it's
yes.
not.
You're back.
Okay, all
Thank
right,
you.
good deal. Cool. Yeah. I try to provide a very robust response to Mr. Joel, and I hope that works. If you need me to go over something else, to summarize all of that is to say, hey, we will help you position yourself for the industry. Okay, cool. So, Vanessa, let's fill some next questions here, and then we'll kind of start moving towards closing this meeting by the top of the hour. Okay, or sooner.
Okay, we have one. We
Mm-hmm.
have two more questions. We have one from Calvin Wafula, and he says, Mr. Coach, can you kindly expand on which aspects I will be covering according to my biochemistry analytical fields? I think he's maybe asking, yeah, how the training program will help him in his career path, which is biochem. Biochem. Yeah, that's Calvin.
Okay. Just listen to that. Let me take that. Calvin, my Mr. Coach, can you kindly expand on which aspects I will be covering according to my biochemistry analytical field? Okay, so Calvin, your background in biochemistry, that's a lot of good stuff. You are already analytical to begin with, right? Biochemistry is about testing and retesting things, right? So what does the industry look like in biochemistry? I'm gonna provide a link here for you. This is specifically for Mr. Fuller. And this chemistry. Let me just provide you this link. So let me just provide there's a link here that I want to provide you from Medium. So I want you to go over this link later on, and this will actually help you a lot. Samuel, it's funny thing you ask because I was just reading about this the other day. So you are in good luck. You're in luck. So look at that. Can you see that link, Mr. Calvin Wafula? That is for you. Okay. It's about it talks about implementing the power of data, revolutionizing biochemistry with the magic of data science. And that's just part one. So one, you can read both part one and part two of that article. Yeah, please type a yes if you got that, right? It talks a lot about protein modeling, right? And simulations, right? Yeah. It talks about data-driven drug discoveries, okay? How do you use the data to do drug discovery or perform drug discovery? And it goes further to actually show you real world applications on the industry if you read part two. So there are two parts to that article that you can look at. But in high level summary, biochemistry has a lot to do with research and development. A lot, a lot, a lot. Biochemistry has a lot to do with massive, massive amounts of data. How do you manage enormous amounts of data? How do you manage data that is constantly evolving? The skills you need to manage those are the skills that are of concern for you, Mr. Calvin, right? So whatever you're doing is you want to kind of ask yourself, how about big data? How do I handle big data? How do I work with big data? What are the techniques that are there? What is the industry doing about massive amounts of data and how to work with it? Forget just understanding the hydrocarbon chains. That's okay. But now you also want to understand all of the vast amounts of data that is out there. How do you store the data on the cloud? How do you access it on cloud? What tools and techniques? What programming languages? How do you handle different formats of that data? How about the noise in the data that you're getting? How do you randomly select data that is representative of the entire set in order for you to provide a comprehensive, fully representative research based on your biochemical inquiry? Could be because you are trying to develop a new drug pattern, or finding hidden patterns within a DNA sequence. All of the things that you're already studying as a domain expert, but now using the empirical data to understand it better. Does that help? I hope it helps. Okay, cool. I want to take maybe one or two more questions because we got to jump into another meeting, Vanessa. They're waiting for us.
Yes,
um,
yes.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
have Simon.
So again,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Simon
Go
has a
ahead.
question. Yeah, when a person is done with the first part, 4 to 6 months, is there any other level? Are all classes online? Tell me more about the certification. Which level should I start as a Bachelor of Arts student? Thank you. That is Simon Learapo.
Absolutely. Fantastic question. So what we have is designed from the ground up, from basically, I don't know anything about data to I know a lot about data to be dangerous. What do I mean by that? You can take a piece of data set, you can complete an analytical inquiry, you can do a data analysis in an organized fashion in using industry benchmarks from start to finish. Of course, ours is a short program. There's so much more to be done, but you can start here and go anywhere. Our classes are not replacements for you pursuing a degree in data sciences, but they're a good, fantastic foundation for you if you're looking to go into the data sciences later. They're a good and fantastic hands-on uh, uh, um, uh, starting point for someone who's never done this before. But they are also, it's also great for someone who is in industry who doesn't want to go get a new degree, but wants to continue to excel, such as James, who was a journalist. How do you use these skills to already excel in your work? What we provide you is the entire bundle of what's needed for you to do your work, to increase your work, leveraging data skills. Okay, right? But this is not the end of it at all. Your practice and application will help carry you forward. What we provide is a good beginner, intro, intermediate level, non-niche introduction to the data sciences and how to use them. What you do from here depends entirely on your application, right? On your use case, mostly, right? Yes, there are going to be advanced classes that we can talk of, such as machine learning, developing models like those. But that's a little more advanced and outside of the scope of this 4 to 6 months. Those 4 to 6 months are for you who I've got no idea what this is all about. I need to get an idea what this is, and I actually want to do and use these ideas. Okay. Yeah. So Vanessa, one of the things that I've seen is that eventually we're gonna get post, post, going beyond the 4 to 6 months. And how do we do that? One of the things that we're doing, for example, with my alumni, starting next month, we have 1 month of how to build applications on top of your data sets. So now you've already analyzed your data set, but how do you present your findings in a way that is highly distributed? For example, creating a web application on top of your data set. So that's a whole new class, right? And that class, I'm only accepting people who have already gone through the 4 to 6 months, right? Because you have the foundations of programming, data analysis. Now let's create a web page that is not just a normal web page, but a web application that reads from a database and presents your findings. So there's a lot more beyond this. This is a starting step. Yes, pretty much this is your stepping stone to your greater self in the data space. Okay? Yeah. We emphasize a lot about the marketplace, guys. This is common within our setting. I need you to take your skills to the marketplace because the market will shape your curriculum, your career, how you learn and what you learn. If the market is asking for A, you must learn how to deliver A effectively, efficiently, right? In the shortest amount of time possible. So we'll take you to places like Upwork is our primary place where we kind of get you off on small projects. But we encourage and help support you, and Vanessa will talk about this later on in another forum, on getting your resumes ready for you to take on jobs, remote jobs, as well as physical jobs within locations in Kenya. We'll show you where those jobs are found, how to be found. But we also teach you to become consultants on your own, especially those who are already professionals. If you're already a journalist, for example, it's a natural progression for you to provide additional service based on your skills in data. Okay? So there's a lot beyond this class, but this class is a foundation for all of that. Okay. All right. Next one, maybe the last one. Vanessa.
Okay. I think we do have, that was Calvin's. We have Ferdinand Wanjala. He says, hello, I have a desire to be a data analyst now that I'm just a final year in BA, but have no background for it. Do you offer basic to complex data analyst field to beginners like I? I think Mr. Obongo has talked about that. The course is, curated for a beginner, like it takes you from beginner to pro in that 4 to 6 months period. So I think Ferdinand Donjala, Mr. Obongo has answered that question. We have journalist show. He or she says, hello, pursuing economics and sociology, but I have been learning how to code. I'm interested in getting a mentor to guide me how to go about it.
Absolutely. Vanessa, don't we love that question? Because that's what we do best, right?
Yes, yes, we do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that the journalist show, and you do have a beautiful name, sir. You've come to the right place because that's really the entire purpose of this. I love to code. Again, for those of you who are here before, I went back to school as an older man, so I know all of the pain points, and I have great empathy for students who are struggling to learn how to code. Learning how to code is no longer an option; it is a necessity, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn how to code. It will give you immense freedom. You don't have to be exceptional, but you need to understand what the code is doing. With the emergence of artificial intelligence, you can shorten your learning curve from 2 weeks to 1 week, from 2 months to 1 month, from 1 year to 6 months, right? Yeah, right. So yes, absolutely, Mr. Shaw, this is wonderful. If that is what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. Again, there's an enrollment form there. Leave your name there, and those of you who put your names on there will kind of go into details, right? Into deeper details. This forum, this free talk is a lot more generalized, right? So, Mr. Shaw, if you leave your contacts, and Vanessa has posted that link, leave your contacts there, and we're gonna schedule another session to just kind of go over where you are versus where you can be. Okay. And yes, you will code, you write code, you'll watch me code, and you look over my shoulder as a mentor, and we will work with you to the very end. You will learn Python end to end, A to Z of Python. We'll learn Python for data analysis, and then we're gonna get you into the next class, which is post this program, which is Python development for building things such as Django framework for websites. We'll take you far with in learning how to code. If learning how to code is your goal, you've got it. Cool. Vanessa, I kind of want to stop here, Vanessa. I think we've had a lot of interest, guys. Unfortunately, I have to kind of jump into another meeting that's been overdue. I want to kind of say thank you so much for your attention. Vanessa is going to post our social media page here, and Vanessa is also gonna expose her email and her point of contact because she's the core coordinator of all of our works. If you have additional questions, please reach out to Vanessa. Vanessa is you can see her there, Vanessa at UADSL, and she will help coordinate questions and answers. Right? We're gonna be doing this every weekend, guys. So please share that link and come back next weekend if we didn't answer your questions here, and you can answer that. You can ask that next time. Thank you all very much, Vanessa. Back to you, and you can go ahead and close this meeting.
Thank you for that, Mr. Obongo. Thank you for the insights and clearly answering the questions. I think Ferdinand asked something about the fees. Ferdinand, we do have, I think I'm going to